A statement from 12 senior UN officials last week called for a stop to reports of indiscriminate and targeted attacks against civilians, including rape and other horrific forms of sexual violence which continue to surface.
When it comes to sexual and gender-based violence, just to give you facts, that in mid-March, 5 medical facilities at Mekelle, Adigrat, Bokro, Shere, and Aksum recorded around 516 rape cases. Given the fact that most health facilities are not functioning, and also the stigma associated with rape, it is projected that actual numbers are much higher. And women say they have been raped by armed actors. They also told stories of gang rape, rape in front of family members, and men being forced to rape their own family members under the threat of violence.
Fighting, which began in early November between Ethiopian government troops supported by Eritrean troops to the north and the Tigray People's Liberation Front, has since killed thousands while forcing close to 1 million people from their homes in this mountainous region. With safety and food insecurity cited as the top priorities for people arriving in places like Shire in the northwest of the Tigray region, at a rate of over 1,000 people per day. As food insecurity and nutrition in a worsening socio-economic climate with reduced harvests further complicates the situation on the ground.
Most of the internally displaced left with nothing more than the clothes they were wearing. They are generally traumatized, and they tell stories of the difficult journey they took in search of safety. Some reported walking for 2 weeks as far as 500 kilometers. And of the people who traveled with them, some were reportedly killed, particularly youngsters. People were reportedly beaten. Women were subject to rape, and some were pregnant and delivered on the way, losing their babies.
The United States has referred to violence in the region as ethnic cleansing, as Washington presses for a full investigation and an exit of Eritrean troops who have since agreed to withdraw.
The administration has repeatedly engaged the Ethiopian government on the importance of ending the violence, ensuring unhindered humanitarian access, and allowing a full, independent international investigation into all reports of human rights abuses. As you noted, Secretary of State Blinken has spoken to the Ethiopian Prime Minister twice to emphasize the United States' concern about the humanitarian and human rights crisis we're seeing. During his testimony yesterday, he reiterated the situation is unacceptable and has to change, and that we're calling on the Ethiopian government to follow through on its commitments that it's made.
Ethiopia's envoy to the United Nations affirmed that all those responsible for crimes committed would be held accountable.
We're trying our level best to apprehend those who committed crimes, egregious crimes, but in the same time, we call upon them to hand over themselves and have their days in court. This, we believe, is the right approach, so that we're not giving anyone out there, not only in the Tigray region, but in any parts of Ethiopia, that whoever committed a crime must be accountable.
The UN also confirmed last week that a joint investigation between its Human Rights Office and the Ethiopian Human Rights Commission will be undertaken as part of a much-needed accountability process for the victims. Sherwin Brycepease, SABC News, New York.